I've been failing to book stuff because I'm like on hold for possible film projects, and it's really
There you
annoying
go.
right now because now I'm just
I
not
mean,
doing much of anything.
well, yeah, there's like the writer's strike and stuff, but here, I mean,
Yeah, like stuff's still shooting up here because our
yeah.
writers aren't on strike.
Oh, there you go. All right.
When SAG goes on strike, we're going to lose a lot of projects though because the
Okay.
actors. Oh, hey, we're live.
Yeah, we are live. And here it is, Tucson Comic Con, September, and it's just Tucson Comic-con.com, September 1, 2, and 3. And, used to I would do that show because I was living in Los Angeles, and Phoenix is only like, 5 or 6 hours out of LA, and Tucson's like basically right there as part of Phoenix almost. It's like a suburb of Phoenix. But now that I no longer live in LA, well, Tucson's farther. But yeah, you can go and hang out and meet Michael Bean, and
Well, that's cool.
yeah, and
I was thinking about doing the El Paso Horror Fest in October.
oh yeah, dude, I already have a ticket to El Paso Horror Fest, so
Nice.
what can I say? You and I can hang out together, and
Let me know what booth you are. Maybe I can buy, because I think you can pick your booth, right?
I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I mean, for me, like El
Never
Paso.
been at a convention where you could.
No, I mean, it's just some. Yeah, I mean, the smaller ones. I've been at a fair number of them where they give you some leeway on stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm doing a lot of shows. What can I say? But I'm looking forward to getting Indianapolis over and done with. West Texas Comic Con was cool. I'd certainly made some great connections there, and I may even get into Bell County Comic Con, which is one of the biggest Comic Cons in Texas. So that would be nice. And I by the way, John, I have ordered some foil prints for you.
No.
So when I arrive, I will send them on your way. And I think a package deal of like a foiled demon titty print and Guinevere trade, $50. I think that's a solid deal that a lot of people. Yeah, like I think you could easily sell like 3 or 4 of those a show. Like you wouldn't even have to like really sell it. Just like put it on your table and a little sign like trade and print $50. I think people would like it.
I did really good this weekend with the graded garbage covers.
Really? Holy shit!
Yeah, I sold my last pumpkin patch one, 9.8 for $200.
What? You're an asshole! Jesus Christ! 200. This guy.
Now, just to clarify for our viewer, you're so jelly right now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Well, congratulations, sir.
Because I was thinking, like, who gets their own stuff graded? And then he finished that sentence.
Yeah, there you go. Apparently,
yeah. So I was selling them originally for like 120 to 150, and that was the last one I had. So I marked it up. Last one available, 200. Dude bought that one and a foil fill cubes that was the front and back. He bought that one for 150. That one for 200. It was 350 in one transaction.
Wow. Okay, there you go. All right, John. See,
Darby cover for something.
Take note, my friend.
I'm thinking about doing that when I go to Tampa Bay. I think.
Okay.
I want to see if they have a table. I'm intending to bring some stuff and dropping it with them.
Okay. Cool.
It'll save me the shipping.
Yes.
And then
although
that way they can.
Although not the shipping back.
No. Yeah. No.
My theory at the con, though, is if you don't have a big ticket on your table, then the people looking to spend big ticket money aren't going to shop there.
There you go.
Wrong.
True.
I definitely noticed, like, even just having a trade paperback, I'm doing way better. And it's a bit of that too, right? Like, fine, there's a floppy, but someone just wants like a bigger thing or to support me more. I don't have to sell the stuff. It's just, yep, here's the thing.
All right. So do we want to go through Harpies? All right. So John, why are we doing Harpies and not Blood Feud?
Why not both? So this is
Okay.
Harpies issue 2.
All
I
right.
haven't this is actually a rewrite. I haven't presented these
Okay.
pages, and I'm doing a rewrite. So after last week, I'm doing basically I'm doing a page 1 rewrite on Blood Feud. So I know I posted this in the Discord, but hell,
Right.
I'll say it again. So as you guys who have read most of it
Mhm.
are aware, it was originally started out as a screenplay.
Yes.
So my vision always was big, epic, 2+ hour action thriller movie, spectacular. That
There you
wasn't
go.
really translating.
Okay. I mean,
At least
it
not the
was.
way I felt through the interaction.
Yeah. Sure.
So I'm kind of retooling some things, and I'm going to treat it more episodically,
Okay.
more like a series. So this way, instead of trying to focus on building up to one big epic plot, I'm going to do a lot of little plots that build up to that.
Okay. But
So
meanwhile, we have Harpies issue 2, and
Mhm.
we have Kyler's second half of Alien Pterodactyls, where apparently we get to see someone screwing an alien. Is the alien pterodactyl dead when the guys?
No, that's in the second issue. So this is the second half of the first issue. You
okay.
guys got to wait a little while to see that.
Okay, all right.
Thank
that's
God.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
and then
That's not what I'm
I'm
here
sorry,
for.
we might kick you out then. I was
But
looking
there are
forward to
boobs,
that.
and I did censor them for John since he
Okay.
doesn't like boobs.
All right. So
No, John doesn't like boobs. He likes uncomfortably weird sexual situations.
So
That was out loud, wasn't it?
Yeah, Danny, which one do you want? Do you want to go through first?
Okay, let's do Harpies.
Okay,
and
here we
Tyler
go.
could wait for the free lettering advice.
Okay, here we go.
I think it should be pretty good this time, but yeah, we'll see.
Speaking of lettering advice, John was very happy with. I went out of my way on what was it, Angel of Darkness?
Yeah.
4, 3,
Neat.
4.
Neat.
4. To remove some of the no copy pages by adding people saying things and reacting stuff happening around them, and I was very pleased that he was pleased with that because they read so much better. So he is learning.
There we go.
I mean, yeah,
a little. It really helps. Anyway, so let's go read his book.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm having to pull up the right file here. Okay, here we go.
I just got feedback from him, and that got approved today. So I was like, "Yeah, I did the thing, and it came out real well. Woo!" And I had some fun with a bunch of those sound effects in that one. So
okay, here we go. We have Champ de Mars Eiffel. What the hell is Champ? All right, John. What is
of Mars? It's like a central part of Paris.
Oh,
it's the park where the Eiffel Tower is.
Neat. I never been. All right.
Me neither. But that's what Google Earth is for. It's very useful.
I mean, it's a nice field.
Look, I'm France.
There's a park.
Sounds like a nice place.
There's a very large roundabout.
Yeah.
There's an Eiffel Tower.
I was talking with my daughter. We talked on Father's Day, which was nice. But we were talking a couple weeks before that, and she was telling me back in high school, because she's now just finished up Latin, and that she was studying in college because she got sick of French, and she told me when she was in high school, she was studying French, and her mom was like, study French and then we'll go to France and you can translate for us. She's like, so I studied up and then we went to France and everyone spoke English.
They speak 5 languages, right? I think.
Yeah.
Speak French, English, German, probably Spanish.
I mean, it is what's all around them. Quite literally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably Russian.
Yeah, that's what normal countries are like.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
America,
Not us
you just
American.
think
Not us
English, and that's
Americans.
it.
We expect everybody to be special. We think we're special and everybody should speak American.
I mean, it is lingua franca. What can I say? Not all right. Who's narrating this wonderful story for us?
Danny can. Why
Danny.
not?
There you go, Danny.
Unless you feel like it'd be too much.
No, let's go.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
Oh, this is in screenplay mode. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't converted it yet.
Cool. All right.
So it should be an
Exterior.
easy read. It's only 8 pages.
Champ de Mars, Eiffel Tower day. Nazi flags hang from the Eiffel Tower. Soldiers march in step along the grounds. Families sit on the grass watching. Then a quiet rumble sneaks up on them. The soldiers stop marching. Looking around, the ground begins to shake.
Oh no.
The earthquake intensifies. The ground cracks open. Beams of bright green light shine from underneath. One of the 4 struts in the Eiffel Tower falls through the ground, tipping the massive structure. The tower falls into nearby buildings, splitting it in 2, sending a massive cloud of dust into the air.
Dude, the Eiffel Tower fell down. That's crazy.
Exterior, outer space. A massive sinkhole grows across the continent of Europe until, kaboom, the entire planet explodes. The massive bright green wave of energy ripples through the solar system.
So isn't that like the end of the story right there?
I am totally cool with that. Roll credit. I said that part out loud, didn't I?
Roll credit. We're done.
Interior, Jezidrow and Zola's tent. Night. Jezidrow wakes, laying on a mat in a small 2-person tent. She looks over at Zola, sleeping sadly on her own mat. Exterior, Coven of Endor camp. Jezidrow exits the tent into the quiet camp. Several small tents of similar size circle an oasis. Under the shade of some palm trees sits a larger tent for the matriarch. Several camels rest by a hitch off to the side. Jezidrow kneels by the oasis, splashing water on her face. She looks up at the stars dotting the sky, exhales deeply.
Kyler, why don't you do Zola, and Preston, why don't you do Jezidrow?
Yes.
Can't sleep, sister?
Zola kneels beside her.
I had the same dream again. The world's magics, they cry out to me.
It is only a dream. If they're a prophetic dream, vision, why do they come only to you and not to the rest of us, or to our matriarch? Her attunement far exceeds any of ours.
I do not know.
You have taken it too much of the colonizer's seed. It is poisoning your mind with doubts of our matriarch's grand vision.
Now it's all a monster.
Listen, bitch. I'll take as much colonizer seeds as I fucking want, okay?
I'm glad you liked that line. I wasn't sure how it was going to land.
Zola takes Jezidrow's hand, stands pulling her back towards the tent.
Come, let us return to bed.
Now standing, Zola pulls Jezidrow into her, so close they could kiss.
Perhaps the hands of your coven sister can help relax your mind.
Zola's hands slide down Jezidrow's back, caressing her firm buttocks. Zola leans in, kissing Jezidrow on the lips. Interior, Jezidrow and Zola's tent. Jezidrow lays back on her mat. That's not how you spell mat. And Zola straddles her hips. She runs her hands across Jezidrow's breasts, leaning in, kissing them. Exterior, Coven of Endor camp. The sun rises over the horizon, bringing in the first morning light. Interior, Jezidrow and Zola's tent. As the light illuminates the stretched leather hides, Zola rouses from her slumber. A sultry smiles on her face, but upon turning and finding she is once again alone, her expression falls. Exterior, Coven of Endor camp. Zola exits the tent, looking around the oasis. 2 Coven sisters bathe in the oasis. Another sits by a fire, setting up a coffee pot. Zola finds Jezidrow nowhere in sight. Interior, the matriarch's tent. Dawn. The matriarch, an older witch in her mid to late 60s, sits two young coven sisters. Okay. One braids her hair as another helps her dress. Zola bursts into the tent, bowing before the matriarch.
Dearest matriarch, Sister Jezidrow has left the camp.
Exterior, Mina House Hotel, Cairo, Egypt, day. Are there other Cairos that you're particularly concerned about, John?
There's Cairo in Illinois.
Sure. Yep. Good point.
There you go.
Establishing shot. The row of 1930s cars are parked out front as valet staff open doors for well-dressed visitors getting out the backs of limousines. Around the back, several horse-drawn carts loaded with fruits, vegetables, and meats. That's not how you spell meats, John. Come on.
That is the wrong kind of meats.
Yeah.
Hotel waitstaff unload crates and taken them inside the hotel. That was an unnecessary use of a gerund. Raj something, because Preston scrolled. Raj parks a nondescript sedan near the back of the hotel. Cool. Who the hell is Raj?
Oh, wow.
Interior, sedan,
Wow.
day. Raj turns to Aaron and Longfu sitting in the back seat. He holds out envelopes to each of them.
Okay, here are your papers. As discussed, Longfu, you will ingratiate yourself with General Mismo's Chiang staff. They have been briefed on the security situation. You guys can...
Aye, aye,
Okay.
Captain.
He's not a captain.
He's not a colonel either.
Lieutenant, you will meet up with Prime Minister Churchill's team. This will put you both in room with them.
Exterior, Mina House Hotel, Cairo, Egypt. Day. Raj, Longfu, and Aaron exit the vehicle. Raj, dressed as a waiter, leads Longfu, dressed in a kimono, Aaron, dressed as a secretary, into the hotel.
You are women. If our intelligence is wrong, you will both be largely invisible.
Longfu looks to the side, spotting the pyramids of Giza looming large in the background.
I'm not Longfu. Or am I?
I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
When we're done playing spy games, can we go visit the pyramids? Oh, and the Sphinx. That's got to be like the biggest game of got your nose in the world.
Interior, Mina House Hotel, conference room. Raj stands by the bar, pouring whiskey from a glass decanter into glasses as the side doors opens. From the left, two aides hold the doors open as an aide, that's not how you spell aide, pushes Franklin Roosevelt's wheelchair into the room and toward an empty spot near the front of the table. He is followed by Winston Churchill, plus a half dozen staffers, among them is Aaron. From the right, an aide holds the door open for Chiang Kai-shek, two staffers, and Longfu. As the doors close, Longfu and Aaron stay toward the outside of the group. Churchill takes a seat at the head of the table while Chang sits across from Roosevelt. Raj approaches, serving them drinks.
Esteemed gentlemen, thank you for joining us for these talks.
As Churchill speaks, a female translator leans into Chang's ear, whispering,
We all recognize the threat that the Japanese Empire poses as it advances across Asia.
Dong, dong, dong. The grandfather clock strikes. Suddenly, the main doors of the conference room burst open. Orion, decked out in red, white corset mini dress branding the Orion family crest, holds a compound bow with leather quiver strapped to her back. Outside the room, a single Nazi brute kills two Egyptian soldiers standing guard outside in silent fashion by breaking their necks.
Meeting is adjourned.
Ryan fires 3 arrows at once. They spread out across the room perfectly, aimed for Roosevelt, Churchill, and Chiang. Longfu leaps into action, kicking the arrows off course and landing on the conference room table in a kung fu pose.
A heretic.
That is not how you spell heretic. Try that again. That is
Hieratic.
hieratic.
I don't know. Spell checker didn't catch it.
That's because it is a word.
That
It
is a
is
word.
not the word you were looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, how am I
Why?
supposed to know?
Look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Orion fires off another arrow at Longfu as she and the Nazi brute enters the conference room. Longfu flips in the air, kicking the arrow to the side and closing the distance to her.
Do I know? You look kind of familiar.
Aaron presses a button on the briefcase, which opens a compartment housing twin M1911 semi-automatic pistols.
Yeah.
Colonel Smith, get the delegates out.
Aaron opens fire on the Nazi brute, but despite wearing no armor, the bullets bounce off the Nazi brute's chiseled pecs.
Ooh.
Raj assists the aides and staff to escort Roosevelt, Churchill, and Chiang out of the room. Longfu leaps off the table toward Orion, sending a massive roundhouse kick to her head. Orion blocks the kick. She and Longfu lock gazes.
How?
You're not the only one who's been enhanced.
Longfu jumps into a back kick, hitting Orion in the chest, causing her to stumble backwards.
I thought the ugly looks was part of the Nazi brute package.
Are you saying I'm pretty? You're too sweet.
Aaron dives over the conference table, dodging the Nazi brute's massive double-fisted strike, splitting the table in two.
Grr, like Captain
But
Kirk
you
style.
knock it off. Not all of us have superpowers.
Longfu ducks under a punch from Orion, following up with a scorpion kick to Orion's face.
It's okay, sweetie. We all have our strengths.
Interior, Mina House Hotel, Upper Terrace. That's not how you spell terrace. Unless we're on like the top of Terrence, whoever that is. Have we met Terrence yet, John? Anyways, Longfu drop kicks Orion, knocking her out of the conference room against the terrace railing, looking 3 stories down to the hotel lobby. As Longfu charges forward, Orion leaps off the terrace, firing an explosive arrow. The explosive arrow goes beep, beep, beep as it approaches Longfu.
Not again.
Boom! The explosive arrow explodes, sending Longfu flying back and sliding across the floor. The force pushes on Orion, flipping through the air. Her leg catches the chandelier swinging toward the terrace on the other side of the hotel. Getting close, she flips off the chandelier, landing on the terrace. Okay. Sorry, I thought flips off like gives it the bird.
That's sure. Could be.
I mean, sure.
We're
Several
leave that up
Egyptian
to the director
soldiers
to decide, all right?
race to the second floor terrace, opening fire. Orion dodges the incoming fire, sending 2 arrows which hit both soldiers precisely through the chest. Longfu leaps off the terrace railing, swings across the chandelier to the other side facing off against Orion. Interior, Mina House Hotel office room, day. The doors crash open as Aaron falls through, having been thrown by the Nazi brute. On her back, Aaron crawls away as the brute marches towards her. Suddenly, an ancient spear pierces his chest. Aaron looks up as a massive 7-foot-tall Draugr in full plate stands.
What the fuck?
The Nazi brute and Aaron look up as Jezreel stands across the room. Behind her, a large undead Draugr in full plate armor stands.
I feel like you could
I gotta
give
fix
us
that.
some description, but
Didn't you have normal zombies in the last issue?
Oh,
Why
yeah,
do you
these-
like undead Norse zombies?
Oh, I've got all kinds of zombies in this one. I'm dialing everything up.
that I would still want some description. I mean, what how is a Druagar different than Asian?
Not, it's a
American?
normal reanimated corpse.
Shanghai Shek is always of interest to me. Well, there you go. Welcome, Asian American advice. Thank you so much. Anyway.
Jezreel points to the Nazi brute.
Why don't you pick on someone your own size?
Jezidrao points to the Nazi brute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kuvasa Musaro.
The Draugr draws twin short swords, charges for the Nazi brute. The Nazi brute slams on the staff of the spear, breaking it two, leaving the pierced piece in his chest. He uses the shaft to deflect the blows. Jezidrao grabs Erin's hand, helping her to her feet.
So the dead listen to you now. No, wait. The dead listen to you now?
Yeah. Yes, I've been practicing.
Still creepy. What are you doing here?
I came to warn you about...
Suddenly, an air raid siren wails.
What now? All right, that's all you get. So let's see. We had some historical figures briefly. We had Franklin Delano Roosevelt's wheelchair. We had Winston Churchill, Chiang Kai-shek. We had Druger zombies. We had lesbian hijinks, which I always appreciate. Thank you. And a bit of a fight scene. So there you go. I mean, definitely delivered on. We're checking the boxes for action, sex, and zombies. I feel like you've got a winning formula with action, sex, and zombies. I think you're going to go far with this one. So there you go.
Lots of stuff happens.
Yes. That's all you got, Daniel?
Yep.
That's the stuff. Okay. All right, Kyler. Go ahead.
We got a good climatic entrance, or cinematic entrance, I should say, with the world exploding there. Good, cool little teaser. Trick the audience. Get into some action a little bit later on. Some arrows, which is a unique weapon for World War II era, I would say. Probably not a lot of people shooting arrows.
No.
There weren't, no.
Some arrows with bombs on them. And the guy's name is Orion, so that's cool. He's named after the Archer star constellation.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Constructives. Danny, you want to go first?
I should go last.
Okay. All right. All right.
I'll start.
Okay,
I'll just say,
all right.
John, didn't you already do a zombie World War II book? So this is your second zombie World War II book.
It's using some of the same characters. So
Yes.
It's kind of a sequel.
It's a quasi sequel / crossover between Angel of Darkness and Spirit of the Dragon.
This is Jean Lamont's script. He's right there. He's the creator of Angel of Darkness and whatever the other one is, Spirit of the Dragon.
Spirit of the Dragon, which ended Kickstarter ended yesterday.
Kickstarter just ended. But you can probably find it on eBay. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, Kyler, you were giving us some constructives.
Yeah, so some other constructives in terms of like the writing is you had very minimum dialogue for what will probably end up becoming a page, because it was written in a way that's not a comic book format. So when you actually break it,
that's what I got Danny
like
for.
A page worth of panels and only.
You're gonna have to start paying other ways.
But yeah, I thought the dialogue for how much action was happening, like it was multiple panels for sure, and then minimum dialogue. So I think that kind of needs to balance out a little bit. That's my main criticism. Otherwise, I thought it was pretty good.
I mean, I thought it was okay. I don't got a ton of constructives. So go ahead, Danny.
Okay. So this is basically a full comic issue worth of stuff, or like most of it. And it felt really self-indulgent, by which I mean like you tick off all the boxes, but nothing's really set up, and you take too long on stuff that's not like it works fine play, but is just taking time as a comic. For example, like so much in and out of tents, or the sex scene that didn't need to be there. That's sort of fine. But then, like, you spent a lot of time some amount of time establishing all of these world leaders at this conference. And then none of them get to do anything. So they didn't need to be there at all.
They do. This is based on a historical event.
Well, sure, but
I mean, the fight could have happened out in front of the building.
Yeah, like we don't see these people for any plot reason, and
But if
then
they're
you
not
spend a
there,
lot
then
of
there's no
time,
reason.
you know.
I mean,
having
is it bad to just have like a cameo of historical figures?
There's nothing wrong with it, but the story isn't like
Okay.
no one even explains what they're there for, or like at least teach us something. Don't just have them show up and not say shit. Like that was
Yeah,
just
how you
a missed
target.
opportunity. You know, like no one knew that what's his name was in a wheelchair, for example, at the time.
Yeah.
No one says anything about that. And you know, where's the Secret Service during all of this? There's kind of some
I think
zombies.
Danny's saying that you have a missed opportunity, I think is what he's saying, right?
Yes.
Did the Secret Service exist in World War II? I thought they were.
Well, you're the
Cold
writer.
War.
Figure it out.
Anywho,
And then I think worst of all, you have this very complicated fight scene that happens in the interior of a hotel that you didn't establish at all. I didn't know they were on the 3rd floor until like 10 pages into that scene, right? We have all of this action, and suddenly they're on a balcony. I'm like, what is happening? And then there's an office. Like, where is this office? Why are they in the office? How did they get to the office? Why are there suddenly different zombies? Who the hell is Raj? No one even refers to him by name. Why do we care about this person? Do we care about this person? Is he just some guy? Why does he have a name?
He's their MI6 handler.
Cool. And the audience is going to know that how?
One, it's established in both Angel of Darkness and Spirit of Dragon 5 and in Harpies issue 1.
Okay, so he'll have already been introduced to everybody by this point.
Yes. Yes.
And you're not going to have any readers who are coming in for the first time.
I'm supposed to reintroduce him to characters that already know who he is every single time he shows up. I mean, in issue one,
I really appreciate this amount of effort.
In issue 1, they know he's the boss.
It's the first time we're meeting him in the issue. The names kind of do matter, and they really do function as meaningful signposts for readers, especially when you're going like chapter by chapter. But yeah, like there's a lot of payoff for stuff that just doesn't seem very established, and then some fine action that just had there was nothing really at stake.
Orion's trying to assassinate the 3 world leaders of the Allied side,
and none of our protagonists have anything to say about that.
They're there trying to stop it.
And when did they say that?
They did it in their action. Like that was the whole reason they're there.
You guys, we're here. We're worried about Orion doing this thing. And Orion shows up and does the thing. You have to set it up before you pay it.
Yeah.
Well, that was supposed to be happening in the car when he was talking about the security.
You're going to need more dialogue anyway.
What was that, Kyler?
No, I said he's going to need more dialogue anyway once he breaks into panels, because you can't have like 2 pages of panels with one.
You clearly never read a John Lamont script before. So yeah, like that's what I'm saying about being self-indulgent. Like you've got this complicated geography that's just never introduced and then it's used, so that's going to be hella confusing. You've got all this actually very complicated plot stuff with stakes that aren't stated explicitly, and so it just feels like mindless action at this stage. Like, I didn't know Jezidral was coming here. How does she get here? She just turns up.
She is a witch.
Okay.
I think I think I could see some more exposition and setup for your big fight scene.
Like, what country is she in the tents? How far away is that from Egypt? Like, none of that's established.
That's a good point.
I'm picturing her as like Bulgarian.
Bulgarian?
I don't know. That's just
No,
I mean,
she's African.
Of darkness. She's
Yeah.
from like South Africa.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. We what do you think, John?
So I think the fact that Raj is his real name, but they don't call him that in dialogue, is probably partially what's confusing Danny.
All right.
gotta give him a code word.
His code name is John Smith.
There you go. Well, I mean, we at least gave you something to think about. What
Yeah.
can I say? All right.
No, I appreciate that.
Meanwhile, I mean,
I do.
look at this. That's a nice ass. I
You
gotta
are
say.
successfully trying to distract us, but
Okay.
John was in the middle of saying something.
All right, go ahead, John.
No, So the tent stuff is in Africa. It's not exactly established where but they're not far. Like the problem I was having is what the story plot arc of issue 2 is going to be, and I just don't know if so. Like the matriarch. This is where I was getting confusing. So the matriarch and the coven of lesbian witches are basically moving their caravan north, because the matriarch basically has a genocidal plan that she wants to basically wipe out England. So that's kind of their motivation. And Jezidro is having these nightmares of the world ending, and she thinks it's kind of related.
That happened on like page 1.
Yeah.
What about that?
So yeah, that's why I said I'm trying to like separate her mission and goal from theirs, and I don't know. Plot's probably too confusing.
So my advice is have someone talk about this. Jezreel has gone missing. That's all right. We're going to go destroy England anyways. So we know what they want to do. They're evil or whatever. I'm totally cool with evil lesbian African witches. It's fine. Just tell us what they want to do. Because this brings us to sort of the same sort of thing that you had with the vampire book, where you keep telling us all of these really cool intentions and stuff that people want to do, but no one ever says so clearly. And so that makes it harder for anyone trying to figure out what's going on to know what's going on. Like, if people don't talk about stuff, we don't really have access to, your homework or, like what the stakes are of what's going on. Like, do we like the witches? I don't know. Apparently not. I didn't, I guess they summon zombies, so they're not great. That does make them inherently.
We like watching them naked.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then it's just yes, if they're not characters who want something, right?
There you go.
People
By the way,
something.
I know we're starting to bleed into Kyler's time, but it does. So we got a note that it looks a bit like Gen 13. There we go. Look at that.
Cool.
What is Gen 13?
Gen 13 was a fairly short-lived, I want to say, 90s comic book by Image
type series.
Oh,
like early Image, right?
Yeah, or early Image. Yeah, I was working at a comic book store when I graduated college in '95, and I remember like selling fair amount of Gen 13 at the time. There was boob covers galore, but yet somehow
Kyler,
it failed. Yeah.
I don't know if your attempt at censorship is exactly YouTube friendly.
It's fine.
Yep.
It's
What
just-
boobs? I just see a gray box.
It's fine. It's his box.
Eh,
Stop staring at her box, John.
Exactly. All right.
The boobs are up there.
Yeah. All
You
right.
guys want to read this like a script or just?
Sure. Later that night,
In a location that's clearly
a
a place
greenhouse,
we've never been to
a
before.
big greenhouse with lots of lights, and we got Evelyn. We're shipping out tomorrow, and I'm here to bid you farewell, perhaps for the last time.
Don't be
Don't
so
be-
melodramatic, Frank. You have to remain positive.
I'm not messing around this time. We're headed straight into the nest.
Well, then, I'll just have to give you something worth staying alive for.
Oh,
It's a horror movie. Okay,
that's,
cool.
That's sweet of her. Come here, babe. Back at the Wolf's Den pub, we have a whoosh, and I feel like we could put a little sound effect on the gun. I feel like it needs a bang, and for that matter, I feel like is
the
he
shattering glass? Also,
mean,
I think
so? Is he saying whoosh as he's shooting?
Saying woo.
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 Okay. Yeah. I feel like we need some sound effects on that page. All right.
and woohoo has a couple H's.
Oh yeah,
Woo-hoo.
baby. Nice and slow. All right. Boom. We got very suggestive stage sound effects.
That are lacking.
That they could I could see some sound effects there. Boom. And a climatic finish to the evening was had by all. Who's this chick? I don't know.
We have
So
no
that's
idea.
somebody-
Also,
Yeah, no, she's
why
the
are
lead
your
singer.
location boxes
Yeah.
being narrative all of a sudden?
They are my narration and location boxes. The
That it
other
was.
narration is the aliens. Remember, I said that several times.
Yeah.
But so
mean,
the point of this page here
We'll
was
probably
to show the climax as an alternative scene for the climax, and she's stage diving. It's the same girl from the very beginning who's yelling punk rock. She's the punk rock lead
Stage
singer.
diving? Is that what she's doing?
Yeah, there
'Cause it
are
looks like she's
people in the
just, like,
crowd.
flying in a psychedelic-induced wonderland.
She's
Well,
clearly
yeah,
high as fuck, right? Clearly.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. You
Yeah.
still don't need that caption at the bottom
There we
because
go.
your visual storytelling is actually very good,
I-
and you don't trust it enough, and you should trust it more.
I'm waiting for the John Lamont Kyler collaboration. That's gonna be so good. The next day, we've finished acquiring the location of the nest. Well, we're reading right to left. Okay. We'll require every man, woman, and cyber freak we have to defeat these beasts. Load up on weapons and anything else you got because we're going to need all the firepower we can get. This is what we've all been waiting for. Now let's fucking go.
I would flip that whole page. That is so whackbirds.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's-
I get what you're doing with the guy, the close up of the guy, but the close up of the guy really should be on the left with the arrow pointing to him, and then that way your entire dialogue should be flipped, so you're reading left to right. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I
can easily
agree.
go in and Photoshop and just flip it.
You should actually just do that. Just go flip the whole panel. And also, your balloons are obscuring the fact that there's a giant crowd.
Yeah, and I don't know how if that logo on the podium gives you trouble when you flip it. Just don't flip the logo on the podium.
It'll
'Cause I
be
don't know if
fine. Just flip the whole
I-
panel. The logo's
the
symmetrical.
logo looks pretty symmetric.
Yeah, it does look symmetrical. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that was the one thing that jumped out at me that might not be exactly symmetrical. But yes, I would recommend flip the whole panel
There we go.
and then
Why
fix
do you
it.
have a black border around your page? That's weird?
Is that
That's just I don't. Yeah, I don't like the white around my pages. I like dark, so I went with the black.
Sure. Okay.
It depends on the style. Angel of Darkness uses
Yeah.
black borders.
And then we have a let's rock. Is that
Why is that at the bottom of the page?
I mean,
Like the
something
balloons.
has to be okay.
Balloons float. So put it above her
Yeah,
head. There's no reason for it to be down there.
well,
Yeah,
it's leading
definitely.
into.
You're covering up the good stuff. Like some of us are tummy guys.
It's leading into the next panel, so it draws your eye. You
No,
view
it's
the girl,
not.
and then
If
let's
you were
rock.
if you were really leading to the next panel, like her eye line leads into the next panel, you're fine. The balloon doesn't belong at the bottom of the page there. Someone's gonna have to go all the way down and then go back up, like to see if there's anything on the next panel. Just yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I actually did try that balloon specifically in like 100 different places, and I ended
Also,
up with
why is she speaking like a robot? That's an electrical tail.
yeah, she's just yelling.
That's not a yelling tail. That's an electrical tail.
Maybe she's got a voice box from all the smoking.
Could be. All right, and then we got Convoy Through the Desert. And then I-40 westbound. Here we go. We've got Arizona, looks like, and dead pterodactyl and ravens.
Getting
and a
chomped
room.
on. No munch.
Oh boy, hey, look at that. There's some.
Yeah, you got to zoom out for this so you can see it.
Okay, zoom out. Here we go. Oh wow, look at all this stuff. Okay, so we got two pterodactyls. Looks like they're fighting, and we have a rather.
I'll read
got to
this.
zoom in here on the dialogue box here to make. All right, as
the relentless tides. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to? As the relentless tides of two opposing powers collide, a battle for supremacy becomes all but inevitable.
Sure. Why is that at the bottom of the page for no reason?
It's a double page spread.
Why is it at the bottom of the page for no reason? Someone's thumb is going to be covering that. Why is it down there?
I don't know. Where would you advise it go?
Top left.
I mean, yeah, it could go here. Yeah.
Where people start reading things. Top left.
Yeah, it could go there.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
See, like that, top left.
All right, we gotta be getting close to the beast lair. The males are fighting over their turf.
Should we try to take them?
Negative. We don't have time to engage in a chase. Hold your fire unless they make the first move.
We may not have that luxury. Check the horizon.
Snake Syndicate, don't stop. We're secure inside these vehicles.
Looks like an ambush. Okay, can we just go back? Because I'm not happy with these balloons.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Firstly, your characters, you can, if they're talking on radio, you can use this balloon styling and these tails. That's fine, but they shouldn't be in italics because the speakers are on the page. Secondly, you're now covering, you've got a tail into the balloon below and to the left of the male speaker that then bridges further down on the page. But actually, he's the only interlocutor here. And you've also got another tail that goes to his mouth. So you need to not have that second tail going to the Snake Syndicate line, which can just stand on its own because we know that that's who the girl is talking to. You've already established who that is.
Okay.
Now that one, the Snake Syndicate one, if you don't have that bridging tail, it can be in italics because the speaker is off the panel.
Okay.
Also, you break the eye line with we may not have that luxury, check the horizon, and all of that stuff. Right? Because so you've got your female speaker looking the same way that the male speaker is, so we know who she's talking to, but you break the eye line with that balloon. So I'd actually put those balloons further apart, or put that entire conversation on the other side of the page so people can just look at her face and then see that the conversation continues.
Okay.
Because those are two parts of the conversation, right?
And you want them to see the horizon there. So
no,
that's what she's
take them. And then, oh no, she's responding to. So if you have all of those three balloons on the right side of the page, you've got a diagonal line between the negative balloon and the we may not have that luxury balloon that goes through where the dinosaurs are, forcing your reader to look at the dinosaurs and therefore respond to them at the same time as your character does.
Good point. Okay.
Also, you've got a tangent with the border and her, nearly a tangent with the border and her balloon tail. That's a bit sketchy. I'd like get it on the other side, point it through her cheek. It'll be fine.
Holy shit! There's somebody riding a pterodactyl. We haven't seen that before, right? That's new.
No, well, these are snakes.
Lovers. We're gonna find out in issue 2.
Oh yeah, and that guy's got a snake head. We haven't. All right, this is new stuff here. He's showing us some new stuff.
I mean, that's clearly some Mad Max bullshit. What I want to know is why he doesn't have anything to say.
Why he doesn't what?
He wants you to give him some dialogue.
Well, he's up in the air, so they wouldn't be able to hear him, even if he was.
You're giving the reader insight into what's going on. You can say things just for the reader.
Okay.
Or at least have the pterodactyl make a sound.
You know the drill. Asses in, guns out. Assume defensive position on either side of the road, and let the plow split their ambush wide open. Okay.
Okay, this needs actually a ton more exposition. Like, oh no, it's a raiding party. It's the Snakehead gang.
Well, that was in the on the last page.
That's true.
Right? He's like, oh,
right. Yeah, I already got distracted because the reading order was So
what do the
and also you go from a guy on the air to a guy on the ground. That's really confusing.
Well, it's both. So they're coming in the air and they have the road blocked.
I see. Well, you didn't establish that previously, so it's confusing.
Well, it's an ambush, so. Right.
Well, it's an Yeah, but ambush doesn't say ambush from the sky and the ground.
Yeah, I could see throwing in a little bit of exposition and saying they've got the road blocked or something,
Yeah.
It's not just the pterodactyl riders; they have the road block.
Yeah.
Get your asses in, get your guns out.
Yeah, I could see that.
What do these snakehead dudes call each other?
The Snake Syndicate.
No, that's what the good guys call them. What do they call each other?
Just their regular names or whatever.
Bob and Sally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they don't have like a cool I'm the snakes. Well, I was just thinking like the guy leading them on the flying thing could be like, oh, snakehead guys, roll out or attack.
Well, yeah, they would call themselves Snake Syndicate too.
Okay.
Oh, or you could have the guy with the massive minigun cock be like your money or your life and have him say something like, are they just trying to kill people? Do they want something from our heroes? Like, do they just want gasoline? Is this literally Mad Max? I'm cool with that. Just tell us what they want.
No, they're actually trying to capture people. So they want them to stop.
You can have them say, stop, or we'll kill you.
You could.
Look at my minigun cock.
I mean, for that matter, I could see these. Like, I feel like in real life, like, these two would be saying something to each other. Like, let's kill them or something.
Let's hope they slow down. I don't have very much ammo left.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we got big truck coming up.
Yeah, the plow. You talked about the plow.
Yes, we did. Focus your fire on the riders, not the beasts.
Your line about the plow could just be in the panel with the plow.
Could.
What about, there was a line about a plow?
Yeah.
Yes, up here, he says, you know the drill, ass and gun, assume defensive position on either side, let the plow split their ambush wide open, he says that.
Yeah, I put that in the panel with the plow.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea, yeah.
Because otherwise you have a whole bunch of panels with no copy.
Yeah.
And also, you're using the line about the plow to establish whose plow it is and why we care about it.
That's a good point, yeah. Danny's full of good ideas.
Yep.
All right.
Focus your fire on the riders, not the beasts.
There we go.
So we know they have riders. Okay, but no one comments on the fact that they're both flying and on the ground. So that is a problem now.
All right, now
probably use a sound effect here for the guns too, huh?
Yeah, but I also want to say, okay, so all right, I'm trying to put this together. So they're in a convoy, and there are other people on the ground with like miniguns, and then this plow drives through, and then we just got these guys just standing there like shooting off the
No, so
ground.
he explains it. He says, get on either side of the road and let the plow go through.
Okay.
So they're pulled over on the side of the road. The plow's coming through. They're also shooting while they're on this because
Yeah, I suggest adding some lines so that our heroes know that they're being attacked from both the ground and the air.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that whole transition from flying guys to ground guys to whatever, and then back to the plow, and then back to flying guys after you show us the ground guys. So what you're doing here is you're setting a bunch of stuff up and then not paying it off.
I just want to say that this is like a really big gun. Well, actually, it's beyond a gun. This is a cannon, and
what's a Gatling gun?
Well, I mean, Gatling was actually a specific term for like the old hand operated
one. That's a minigun.
Yeah, that's a minigun or a cannon, capable of spitting out a bunch of rounds that we don't see, but whatever.
It'll explain it a little bit here in a panel or two. But they're trying to capture them live, so they're trying to stop them. Yeah.
Don't explain it in a panel or two. Explain it to us like as early as possible.
Because I just feel like these guys
establish the stakes
out in the open. I feel like the guy with the cannon could be, Anyway,
out of curiosity, how does a giant carnivorous pterodactyl help you catch anyone alive?
Wow.
Because you'll see in a second.
You'll see. There we go.
Emilio.
We went psychedelic. That's psychedelic.
So that is a infrared shot from the robot that we see in the next panel.
Yeah. Yep.
And if this, I might need to explain. I wasn't sure how to do this best.
Hold on. Stop. You're trying to explain things before you're getting the reaction of someone trying to read this thing.
Okay.
So there is an object on the left in panel 2. We have no idea what it is. Right? And then we have, again, everyone talking on radio with radio voice, which is really distracting, there's a metal thing that we've never seen before talking about it. Whose side is that guy on?
No, he's in the previous half. He's Brahm.
He's who?
Brahm, the robot that Doc gave him.
Oh, right. Why did no one say that the robot was coming along on this mission?
We did. There was like 2 pages about that he built him a robot.
Well, yeah, it's, hey, we built you a robot, not, hey, we built you a robot. Cool. Let's take it on the next mission and test it out.
Awesome.
So, yeah, because he's not established as being a character who's in this scene. And then he's just there doing stuff. And I guess that's a bullet, but we never see that bullet being fired. The one on the left?
It's a tracking device, and he says it in the first bubble.
I know he says it, but I'm saying that we don't see the action. We just see the tracking device.
Right. And in the previous panel, he talks about how he's equipped with that tracking thing.
Okay, that was like 5 pages ago. And how does the tracking device get affixed to the creature? Because that creature was in the air.
Yeah, he shoots it.
Where is the panel where that?
Yeah, there's no panel where he shoots it, but it's assumed that he shot it.
All right.
Okay, so you're just telling us that something has happened without showing it to us.
Yeah.
It's too late at this point. Yeah.
I am just drawing attention to the fact that this is what the art is doing, mostly so that way we can write around it if necessary. So why don't you instead say that the people who were shooting at it have tracer or tracking rounds hidden in randomly, and that now the robot can track it?
Only the robot has that.
We saw other people shooting at that monster. So why don't you just say that the robot is able to track this tracking device shot that someone else has already shot at the monster? And then you don't have to talk about the robot having done something we didn't see, because we didn't even know the robot was there.
Well, I set up the tracking dart, like I said a few pages ago, and he tells him.
You scroll backwards, like to the bottom of the previous page. See those two guys in the bottom left? Just have the robot say that one of them shot the tracking shot thing, and then the robot can say, haha, our other guys have done this, now I'm tracking it. That's what I would recommend.
Right,
So
but I already have the whole other page with him saying that he has the tracking device and the
okay,
explosives.
well, you should have thought of that when you're doing your art direction to put the robot in the seat. Since you didn't, that's
here's a thought. Looking at this lady screaming, why the hell is she? Who is Emilio, and what is she screaming?
I think Emilio is this guy.
Yeah, that's her drummer from the band.
Why is she screaming his name?
Because
he gets scooped up.
Not
right here.
That also does.
Yeah, that happens off panel.
So
it happens.
Why don't she be the one to just says, "Hey, robot dude, fire the tracking now"?
Yeah, that works too.
And you put that there, and then we see the aftermath of the tracker hitting the thingy, because we don't see him getting scooped up.
Getting scooped up in the weird colorful art.
Yeah, the infrared.
That is cool. But I agree with John that the action is so unclear that you need to write your way out of it.
Okay, so I'll put a balloon in the infrared panel from Priscilla.
Yeah,
she's the singer.
Like, oh no, it got Emilio, and then
do that
the robot
later.
says, "Don't worry, we've shot a tracking device round into it. I'm going to trace it now."
Right.
Yeah, something like that. Because honestly, with her scream, and the other thing too is with her screaming his name before we see him get grabbed makes no sense to me. He should get grabbed, then she screams his name, like, "Oh no!" Otherwise, it's like she's calling him to do something. Because it happens before, it almost looks like she's calling Emilio to do something, calling him to action. So if she's the one calling the robot to fire the thing, that makes more sense. Then we can deal with him getting scooped up after the fact.
So this panel, if you scroll up a little bit, Preston, it's coming right for him. I mean, you could see she's standing next to him there on the left. He's right there. It's coming right at him.
But honestly, it also looks like these two guys are shooting the rider in the chest. So as far as I know, the whole thing's coming crashing down, because it's like if you're flying, you're riding a giant flying thing and you shoot the rider, like depending on how he's controlling the thing, it could just come crashing down. That doesn't tell me he's about to get swiped up.
No, well, they're shooting the guy, not the pterodactyl. So the guy dies
again,
based on what we're seeing.
Right.
So we're dealing with what's on the page and not like what you imagined. And
so I could put Emilio being screamed in next to her here on the left, and then there on the right say.
So for example, one solution would be on the left. You say, "Emilio, shoot the driver," and then in the inset panel, you have her say, "Robot, fire the tracking round so we can find out where these guys live." And then you can just have her VO the next page, panel 1, "Emilio, no." And then you have the robot being like, "Don't worry, friend whose name we don't know yet. I've attached a tracking device."
She could also say something like, "Emilio, watch out, he's coming right for you." Then when he gets picked up,
I feel like the tracking device thing is more plot important.
No. I mean on the left. On the left, when it's just the two of them, she could say, "Look out, he's coming right for you," because that's what we see in the page, in the panel. The pterodactyl's coming right at him. So she could say, "Look out, he's coming right for you." And then in the inset, she could say, "Fire the tracer round." And then he gets picked up. And then she could say, like, "He's got Emilio. We have to find him, damn it." Something like that.
Yeah.
Or tell me, robot, you got a tracker on him because they got Emilio. Something.
I'm going to get my revenge on this giant pterodactyl for killing my drummer, Emilio. Or whatever. Yeah, and just put something in that really pretty panel. Is it, it kind of sucks, but you've got to do that.
Yeah, I should probably have a sound effect on the dart hitting too, like a thud.
I mean, no, you need to just narrate what the hell's going on with the dart, dude.
Mm-hmm.
the dart's not even being shot. It's already
It's not.
there.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look like it. It doesn't even look like a dart. It looks like someone dropped a backpack
right here.
with
I don't
an apple
really
on
know
it.
what this is.
It's a backpack with an apple on it. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put something that's like a VO from the robot voice where he says, tracker attached. Tracking now. Location. Like location found or, something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll rework those couple pages.
Right.
Let's read through it as is, though.
All right.
Okay, so then I guess the pterodactyl flies away to its nest or whatever because no one's driving it.
Yeah.
And the robot talks about it.
I've attached a tracking device to the creature that's carrying Emilio. As long as they remain within range, we'll be able to locate them.
Okay, and then Optimus Prime destroys an 18-wheeler that we didn't know was there.
That's the plow. It's plowing.
Yeah, so there was
Those
two
look like
trucks
plows.
blocking the road.
I saw the plow. Looked like a snowplow before.
Yeah. What this is
It's the
plow.
same vehicle.
The plow. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So it's shoving
those
something
two
else out of the
vehicles were-
way.
Yes.
It's shoving a mysterious vehicle out of the way.
Yes.
No, they're up. If you scroll up, they're in that panel.
Hold on, that was the vehicle in the background when the guy had the minigun cock.
Yeah.
Man, it's been like a page and a half, and that minigun hasn't shot a single round. I'm just.
It has not.
Yeah, like I said, they're not trying to kill him. They're just trying to intimidate him. They're trying to get him to stop.
I don't believe you until the characters say something about that.
Exactly. Yeah. That would be a
I'm
good
scared
line.
of
Like
pictures.
that would be a
Yeah,
really good
story.
line to put right here. Like her saying, "Don't
Don't
Like,
kill him.
dude,
Eat him alive.
Yeah.
How about, dude, put the minigun away? We're trying to
Yeah.
beat them, not kill them.
Yes. Something like that. Yeah.
And he'll be like, "Oh, but I just scavenged it."
Yeah. But it makes my thing look
But-
big.
But mom,
Like, do some world building.
yeah.
Overcompensate much?
There we go. And then we got
Some mysterious
bang
person.
bang. We take no prisoners.
That's a really hollow gunshot sound that also breaks a panel for some reason. And we only see, I guess we see 2 bullets leave,
Yes.
but only
two-
one
two-
bullet hits.
Two. These are casings, but yes.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
And what's
Okay.
happening in that panel above all that?
So they're crawling away
There's
from
like
the wreckage.
a squid or some ants doing something.
I don't know what's going on here. Yeah.
What's
No,
going
they're
on?
crawling away from the wreckage because they just dove out of the way of this big thing crashing in.
People that we didn't see in the previous panel. So
Right, and then some of the stuff is assumed. I don't have enough panels to show every tiny detail as it is.
You could show the little people in this panel where the big truck is hitting the other big truck with them diving away. Like they could be right there, like running for their lives.
Too late.
But
yeah,
anyway,
well,
Too late.
add some dialogue. Oh no, those assholes killed our truck. Let's run away
Yeah. Now,
before they capture us.
I mean,
and then we take no prisoners as a response to that, and that's
Now-
a comedy one-liner.
are these two supposed to be like the minigun dude and his girlfriend that we saw earlier?
Yeah, they're both dudes. One's just extra large.
Okay. All right.
well,
Well,
considering
yeah.
the fact one guy had a shirt and one guy didn't, that's
I
kinda why
didn't
we
mean
thought
to
it was-
assume the gender or the pronouns of the snake folk. I was just saying because I didn't really make that connection that these were the same two. But all right, fair enough. Okay. Bang bang.
Well, I did think that the one might be a chick because he's wearing a shirt, and the other 2 guys that were obviously not chicks were not wearing shirts. So I
Yeah,
thought
but
that
if it was
part
a
of their
girl-
uniform.
Okay,
But I
Yeah,
thought that would be part of their uniform that the chicks wear shirts.
can
and
we
the guys
actually
don't.
also just scroll back up a little bit, Preston?
okay.
Because we
You
know
guys know me,
absolutely
though.
nothing
If it was
about
a
this
female-
gang. We've never
There's a
met this
female
gang
sheet of
before.
double B's.
Tyler, don't talk over. John was saying something that is relevant. Sorry,
Yeah.
Preston, scroll back down. Sorry, I just want to see the gunshot panel. And just sort of further down.
Back to where we were, I think.
Yeah, you just scrolled below it because I have. Okay, stop. Okay, Kyler, art note. You see that empty space where there's a character's head and 2 bullet casings
Mhm.
over a gradient background? It's not a panel, but it has a border like a panel. Don't do that. So just have it all be the same neutral background. Having that look like a panel but not be a panel is incredibly distracting, and it takes focus away from the flow of the action.
Oh yeah.
I
It
would
should just be the same under. It should be the overlay.
I would just Photoshop it out and use that like mauve or whatever that you're using right below it, between that and the other panel, because that looks like a sunset or something, some action. And it's actually like that yellow in the middle is taking away from the gun. It's just very confusing. So in the future, watch out for that. If you have the energy to Photoshop it, you should Photoshop it out.
I'm a little confused. The angle of the gun firing does not appear to have the same bullet trajectory as hitting the dude in the head, and that just looks off to me. And the bang bang,
yeah,
and the bang bang just. I know, but I feel like, and again, I'm not an artist, but I feel like that there should be a like the line should be the same. I know it's fine that it's a separate panel, because if they're like 10 feet apart, obviously you can't have them both in the same panel. But I feel like that the line coming out of the gun and hitting the dude's head looks weird to me, because the way the gun is exploding, the way the bang bang is straight, it's not like the bang bang is coming out of the gun. Like if the bang bang is coming out
of the bullet trajectory.
Yes, it's coming from the bullet trajectory, which just looks weird because it doesn't seem to line up.
Actually, is respect that panel border for once and actually just get rid of that bullet trajectory, have it underneath the next panel where the guy gets shot, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, good point.
Well, that's just muzzle flash. That's not bullet trajectory.
No, the bullet trajectory is the glow that's going through the panel.
Bang bang on, because we're all talking about that.
Yeah, that's just muzzle flash.
Okay, well, why is it overlapping the action that happens afterwards? Things that happen later go on top. It's a comic. So, like, your stacking of the action is just wrong there, and you should still respect the panel border, and not that muzzle flash is taking up too much horizontal space. It's creating a line of action that doesn't match the gun, and it doesn't match the guy getting shot.
Well, I can't change the art at this point, so I can change the letter where the bang bang is.
Yeah, just have one bang, put it respectfully inside the panel, the left side panel, and then stop breaking panel borders if you don't need to, because you're also drawing attention with that sound effect to the fact that the line of action looks wrong. So you want to be taking attention away from that.
Okay.
And then, minigun guy is dead. So that was set up and not paid off. I'm a disappointed reader.
Yeah.
Both of them are dead.
Minigun. Yeah.
And then what's up with that panel? Like, are those two panels? Like, so what's that purple thing? Is that a second panel border? Why doesn't that panel border, that purple thing, continue below the minigun?
Down here.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look that detailed at all of the.
Well,
the panels.
That's what we're here for.
And again, you've got two no copy panels that you should be using to have our heroes talk about what these people want and how they can't get it anymore, and how we're awesome because we just killed them all.
That's right.
Or, even all targets are down.
Yeah, you tell us that the scene is complete.
Amidst the turmoil, these rebels have not only found a way to survive, but to thrive in a world ruled by monstrous beasts. Their secrets a twisted symbiosis with their once enemies, harnessing the creature's power as their own and embracing their savage nature with a ferocious glee.
Is that a narration box telling us what just happened, or is it telling us about the snake people?
I was wondering that. Yeah. I was
just
confused.
killed all the snake people. We don't care about the snake people anymore.
Yeah.
The Snake Syndicate are a big part of the story. They're going to be
not that we know of. This is the first we've heard of them. We saw 3 people, and we just blew them all away. As far as we're concerned, the Snake Syndicate is dealt with.
No, there was like 4 other guys riding pterodactyls that didn't get killed, but the the main plot
We
around
watched all
issue
that.
2 is going to be the Snake Syndicate.
Right.
So
But
we're
in
introducing
these
them.
pages, I only recall 3 people from the Snake Syndicate, and they're all dead. So I would have
Right.
liked to have seen the people that escape.
No, they do in this panel. You
maybe
haven't
get
scrolled
rid of
down yet.
That
pointless post fact
Scroll down.
information, telling people what they just saw, and you instead have one of our heroes be like, those other 3 riders went back to their nest. It's a good thing the robot that teleports was able to put a tracking device on. Now we can go hunt them down where they live and actually give them a mission.
Brett, if you scroll down a little bit, we'll see the other Snake Syndicate that got away.
I mean, I believe you that they got away. You're just...
Okay, so here they are flying away. And there's Amelia.
And none of them are like, oh my gosh, we got away by the skin of our teeth.
No, they're like, this is totally normal. We don't need miniguns. There was no bullets in it anyways. That's why the guy didn't shoot it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to wait for issue 2. There's...
I'm not going to wait for issue 2. What I have right now is a whole bunch of good art and the plot with people teleporting.
In issue 2, they talk about how they fucked up the mission.
They should talk about it right now, so that way we want to see it out with them in issue 2 instead of me having to spend more money.
The signal is strong, and we're getting closer.
Like, we go up. Was there just another panel not establishing what was going on?
It's their hideout.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, our Snake Syndicate should now be taking center stage, and we should be getting their perspective.
Let's go, maggot. We got some hungry pterodactyls.
Those are the baby pterodactyls. Yep.
I said, move, slave. Well, they can't talk. All right, cool.
Wow, they can actually talk. I'm surprised, considering they haven't yet.
Can Commander Dagger and team save Emilio? Find out in issue 2. All right.
That's not a narration box. That's a speech box. That's speech balloon. Why is the to be continued in a speech balloon? Why is it a yelling balloon? Why? Stop yelling at your reader, dude.
It looked cool.
So yeah, like that needs its own styling or whatever. Your to be continued. That should use a display font. It should not be organized like an oval balloon. It should be in a rectangle. Yeah, and it shouldn't. It's in a dialogue font right now. And who's talking even? You don't have a narrator. So yeah, this is when you use one of the blue panels if you really need to. But yeah, there was just 2 pages of like the snake people have a hideout and we know nothing else about them. They don't care about their friends' lives apparently in this incredibly dangerous world.
Well, like you said, they barely got away.
Yeah, I said that.
An ambush gone wrong because Dagger and Lizzie are badass.
So what you gave us in the art was our heroes killing everybody.
Yes.
Yes. And
then suddenly there's a couple more of them that came in out of nowhere, and suddenly we have to care about Emilio, Mr. Have not been introduced to this guy before.
Right.
So you got to give us something, and that means because of what you're focusing on in the art, that's got to be the snake people's perspective. So I'm doubling down on go back and give the snake people some damn personality.
And I don't know, and I have no emotional connection to Emilio, and I don't know why we should care if he gets saved. You have the snake people show up. They apparently don't want to kill anybody, according to you. But our heroes, our quote-unquote heroes, go in and just kill them all. So, which is in...
that would be vehicular assault, and then assault with a deadly weapon.
Right, like we don't know. Like maybe they were just like selling Girl Scout cookies, and our heroes just walked up and murdered everybody. I mean,
I would bring a minigun when I go out, like farming. If these fucking assholes are driving around the desert just murdering all my friends,
right?
I mean, exactly. Yeah. Like if this is Mad Max world, Of course, if you're just going out for a nightly stroll, you're bringing your minigun with you.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
you especially want to go when you're near those assholes from whatever place, Albuquerque, because they'll just murder you before they even talk to you.
Yes.
Have you
Right.
been to Albuquerque?
It
Yeah,
seemed nice.
I've
to me,
seen
but-
all the Mad Max movies. The bad guys have a lot more characterization than this.
yeah, and usually the bad guys are always the one. They're usually established murdering, raping, and killing before they, as soon as they're introduced. So we know they're the bad guys.
No, that's what our heroes do. They just murder everybody, and then they talk about.
So I don't want to get too much into season 2 with this one, but essentially, or episode 2. Episode 2, we learn a lot about the Snake Syndicate, and they end up being not bad guys.
I mean, right
What's up,
now,
Larry?
I'm not excited
Well,
to read that because you haven't established them as being interesting in issue 1, dude. And
Yeah,
you have
but
just to do
But
it.
you guys are getting what the point of it is that.
No, you're telling us. You're telling us what we don't see, and we're.
Well, I'm telling you what happens next, but like we just said is
right. But listen.
Okay, what you're telling us is we should care so we can give you money to buy issue 2. And I'm
Yes.
telling you, we have no idea who these people are. We don't care. And it's good practice to make people care when you show them some things. That way they will want to buy issue 2. Not to say, well, that's all right. You'll care after you give me more money, because that's a promise that you may not be able to deliver on.
Yeah.
And this is the book that people actually bought. And having it pay off everything it sets up is better practice.
yeah, I'll add some lines with the Snake Syndicate for sure, but I'm not going to reveal all of what's in issue 2.
I'm not saying drop all your spoilers in issue 1. My point is, as far as we know, the Dagger and badass whatever her face who just murderized everybody are our
Lizzie.
heroes.
I feel like
They're our
feel like-
main characters. They're our heroes. Pete, when somebody backs issue 2, they're not backing issue 2 for the Snake Syndicate. They're backing it for Lizzie and Dagger. So if we don't like Lizzie and Dagger, we're not backing issue 2. That's my whole point. So we don't. I personally, after issues 1 and 2, I don't. Besides, the art is really nice and it's got titties and blowjobs. But besides that, like, I don't know what is going to attract me to issue 2, because it's not going to be the story or the characters. Because I don't really know these characters. I don't really know what they want. I don't know what drives them. I don't.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
And then for me as a reader, I'm feeling really insulted by the narration that's telling me what I just read after I read it, instead of telling me what I'm going to read before I read it and making me excited. There's not a lot of trust in the reader here. And you're assuming that I'm going to get someone's motivation from a picture of a truck going down the highway. Trucks aren't people. And so I don't feel very connected to a lot of this actions. I don't know what our heroes are trying to get out of any of these scenes.
Well, they're trying to get to the nest. They're going to meet the Arizona crew.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel
the dialogue did establish that they were on a raid. There was a tracking device, and actually, there's 2 tracking devices now.
No, I'm going back.
I thought the tracking device
back.
was for the pterodactyls. Like,
the
it's very confusing.
When I mentioned motivation, I'm going back to when they left the club at the end of last week. Yes. I don't know why the characters are even on the road. Why are they here? I don't know. Why do I care that they're there?
So why don't they just ignore the snake people and just drive around them instead of endangering their own vehicles and lives? Because they're not trying to deal with the snake people. The snake people don't want to kill them. Presumably they know this.
And the snake people aren't stopping them from getting to their goal.
For no reason. Our heroes, in air quotes, are the villains of this story. They're just running around murdering strangers for no reason.
No, that's absolutely true, and that's on purpose.
Okay. All
okay,
right.
so you
what I want to know though is I have a question.
As a reader, I'm not necessarily on board for that.
All right.
So you need to get me on board for that.
Right, but you guys are saying that you're not, or you don't have affection or whatever for the characters. So how do I change that? I'll add stuff for the Snake Syndicate.
Well,
Okay.
what would do it for me would be clear character motivation, and what are the characters' motivations, and why do I care that the characters accomplish their goals or don't accomplish their goals? So your characters, Lizzie and all them, can be bad guys, okay, that are going out to do bad things. And then I care about them being stopped. So then when the Snake Syndicate shows up, I'm like, oh, somebody's going to stop these bad people from doing bad things. But quite frankly, I don't even know why they're on the road in the first place.
They're headed to the nest.
Yeah, like,
Okay,
I'm
so
with John on this one.
why are they going to the nest? What are they trying to accomplish at the nest? Do they have good motivations?
They're in a battle against the pterodactyls. There are no real good or evil in the people.
Okay.
Like they're all
okay.
I think
Danny, hold on a second. Let me finish my thought. Okay, so then we've established that the pterodactyls are bad because they're munching on people at will. So
Yes.
they're going to go to the nest and destroy the nest. So
Yes.
that means that we are on the side of Lizzie and Dagger going to the nest. We want
Correct.
the nest destroyed. That means anybody stopping them from that goal, which we agree is a good goal, is now the villain. They are the antagonists.
Correct.
Regardless of whether or not they actually turn out to be the good guys. You can, rightly so, you can explain that later. But from our perspective, that's kind of what we're going.
Correct.
I think every scene within itself needs to establish who is there, what they want, and what the consequences are of their failure to achieve that. I agree with John, and I feel like most of the action that happens after that club scene doesn't do that. And you know, who are the snake people and what they want? Oh, they don't want to kill anybody, and you don't even tell us before you're done the issue. So if they don't want to kill, no one's going to know that. Your reader is not going to be able to read your mind.
Well, in the last panel, he calls him a slave.
The reader is going to be able to read the words that are on the page in front of them. And that's
and slavery is pretty bad. Like most people that say you're now a slave, we're going to immediately think of them as a bad person. So if you're going to all of a sudden now say that the snake people are the good guys, now of course you're going for shades of gray. That's fine. You do whatever you want.
There is no real good or evil, guys.
Slavery is categorically evil, Kyler. Just like summoning zombies is categorically evil.
Okay, but what I'm saying is they're both good in some ways and bad in some ways, right? Lizzie and Dagger kill everyone because they're trying to protect their clan, and the Snake Syndicate's in their way. The Snake Syndicate.
Telling you though, or I think what we're both telling you is, as readers, you haven't told us that or shown us that in this issue.
Right. You're telling us here in this stream, but not in your comic. So here's an idea. So establish when they're going out I would say a little bit stronger, because I did not remember that they were going to a nest. So if we did that last week, maybe I forgot. But make it big that we need to destroy the nest. We need to know why they need to destroy the nest. Like what is going to, like Danny said, what is going to happen if they don't destroy the nest? Like, are they breeding so super fast that they have to call the herd? Like, what is the consequences of them not succeeding? Then you have the syndicates show up, and they need to say something so that we know what their motivations are. Then our heroes need to say, holy shit, like we have to get through I know you have the plow through the line, but basically they need to be explicitly clear. Like, they need to remind the audience, the reader, if we don't get to the nest, bad shit happens. Go through them, like kill them all, get them out of our way. The mission is more important than these Snake Syndicate assholes. And we need to know that, because we need to be reminded of that. in my opinion, because I totally did not follow.
I agree
They were
entirely
trying to
with
get to the nest, and I didn't know why they need to get to the nest or what the consequences if they don't. So if you remind us of that in the middle of that action scene, now we're still on the side of Lizzie and Dagger through this scene.
Okay, that all makes sense. Everything except for that you didn't know they're heading to the nest, because we literally had an entire page where he gives a speech on how they're going to the nest.
Also, sort of relating to not knowing to the nest, and you say things in this book once. I don't know who Nigger is by the end of the book. You've only used the name once, and I think it was in a narration box. I think in the revision, and so that's better. But I mean, we've just met these characters like 10 pages ago. You, Kyler, have been working on this project for months. Me, the reader, I've seen the project today, right? So you need to remind me, the reader, who these people are. Like this Emilio thing. Emilio doesn't matter. Like, as far as I'm concerned, when he gets taken away, the name being called is just a random name to humanize him because he's on the good guy's side. Not that he's a character who matters. He doesn't talk at all in any of the other scenes he's in, which was you come back to a couple of times.
Well, he's the drummer. He's just playing the drums. But this introduces him.
He's the drummer.
But he's a red shirt. He's a red shirt. That's
just because
literally
you've done your homework and set up all of this great world building, Kyler, if you don't tell us in the text on the page, we, the readers, will not know that. No one's going to go back and be like, oh, was he in the punk band? No one's going to think the random guy was in the punk band. Like you,
okay, so maybe I'll yell, Emilio, my drummer, or something like that. But no, this is the introduction of Emilio. He becomes a main character in issue 2.
Well, that's fine for issue 2.
He's the drummer. We liked the punk band scene. He's the drummer in my punk band. I can't let him die is a reasonable reason for the punk girl to murder somebody in this world. I'm cool with that, but you've given us nothing. You've told us things, but the page hasn't told us anything.
Or name drop him in the punk band scene.
Yeah,
like, give it up for my boy Emilio on the drums, and then there you go, done.
Hey, you've seen the Mad Maxettes, the Mad Maxines. There we go, right? I'm Maxine. Here's my boy Emilio on the drums. My guitarist, Mel Gibson. You have an entire scene where you can do that, where there's no copy. Like, why not?
Yeah, put that back at the drum scene if you want to connect us with him being the drummer.
Like, you could probably make this like a really engaging book by putting at least one dialogue balloon in every panel that's advancing the characters, because you've got more than enough plot for a single issue.
Yeah, and you're also, and again, if you want us to carry, it's kind of cliche, but honestly, you have no save the cat moments. So, which is kind of, it's cliche, but like it's kind of, it works. I mean, like, have these characters done anything that connects us to them that we like about them?
That's
well,
Larry's dropping Bob,
and no one's going to be engaged in the story if the story is not engaging.
Larry needs to get his ass on the stream.
He does,
and quit this.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
peanut gallery stuff.
Yeah,
passive hilarious Larry is still fun.
There we go.
So yeah, like Kyler, like you've got the plot. You need to make us care about the people, and that means telling us what they want to do and what happens if they don't succeed. And those people include the bad guys. The bad guys are also people, and you tell us what they want to do and what happens if they don't succeed, or if they do succeed, because they're evil.
I really feel like in a lot of those panels with the bad guys, because the bad guys are they're all just built massively, except for like some of them not so much. Like when the guy has like the minigun and the other guy just has like the M16 and he's kind of small and scrawny, I want him to go, do you even lift, bro?
Or why did you get the big cock gun? Like, because I got the gains, man.
Exactly.
Like, Tyler, and if you're not sure how this works, like, go back and watch a Mad Max movie
Yeah.
The actual like villains and stuff, like
There
they
you go.
talk and have character.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
in
not
those,
supposed to
they're
be
not
Mad Max.
violent.
If anything, it's Tank Girl crossed with Barbed Wire crossed with Jurassic Park.
All of which have villains who are interesting.
And all of which have side characters which are interesting. Like, we give a crap about Hold On to Your Butt. Why am I blanking on his name? Hold On to Your Butts from Jurassic Park. And he's like barely in the movie. Sam Jackson. He's like barely in the movie, but we care about him when he gets eaten.
Yeah,
or
like
when
we
she
also
finds his
care
arm.
about the lawyer who gets eaten because he's an asshole.
Right.
And that's a funny moment, even though something terrible is happening to another human being. That moment.
Well, that's like my Ernest scene.
You know he's an asshole because he's.
Well, my Ernest scene, he shoots the acid sack and explodes. Right? Like we have
But
that
again,
right in the beginning.
But we don't know he's an asshole? I didn't know that. I didn't
No,
know a
he's a
thing
rookie.
about the guy.
He's just a gung-ho rookie who's like too excited to fucking catch a pterodactyl that he ends up killing him.
No, he's not. He's some random idiot, and we've never met him before. You're telling us that. The book's not telling us that. There's a
Yeah, she calls him rookie. She says, "Stand down, rookie," and then he's like, "No, I'm coming on this one."
Yeah, then
and
she also tells him to wait after he gets cut in half, which is not very helpful. So, you know, I mean, you need to set things up more than once. You have to set things up twice before you pay them off. Most of the things that you try to set up, you set up exactly once and then just leave it. And fine, it's a comic. Fine, someone spent money on this. They're going to go and read it with attention. It's got art that's really good. They're going to look at that. It's got story that's pulling things along like a ski lift out of control. By
so it's a very Canadian reference.
Yeah, I'll take it. And so what you can do to make it seem more in control is to set things up more than once before you pay them off. It's set up, pay off. Right.
I'll go back to add in more.
Boy,
what's a good example of this? In say Jurassic Park, someone dies in the pre-credit moment. Oh, these things are dangerous. What could have killed this person? It definitely wasn't a T-Rex. It was a small crate. Oh, here are these velociraptors. Look at how dangerous they are. That's also like right after the credits, right? And then, oh, here's some live velociraptors. Here's how dangerous they are. They're smarter than you think. And then the park power shuts down. And fine, there's a T-Rex, but actually it's, oh, fuck the velociraptors for a lot of it. So it's set up, then pay off. That's why the velociraptors are scary, because they're set up a bunch before they're paid off. Does that make sense, Kyler?
Yeah, I'm going to go back and rewrite
that sort of structure is what you want to be aiming towards. Where you say, here's what's going to happen, here's what's going to happen, here's what's going to happen. Then when it does happen, that's when you make it awesome. And if you shoot your load too early with the awesome before establishing what the fuck is going on, you end up with reactions like ours where we have no idea who anybody is.
I have a lot of notes. I can make this a lot better. Then I'm almost done with the first half of number 2, the script. I have the story already written, but I'm turning into a script. So you guys can help me more on that one instead of just telling me that I write too passively.
Fair enough.
Well,
sure.
Don't write passively, and we won't tell you not to write passively.
Well, on the Luciferian sex cult, I specifically tried not to, and it was still too passive for you guys. So I don't know. I'm just
Control F I S.
Yeah.
Start there. Control F ARE. Start there.
Yeah.
Control F BE. Start there.
Yeah.
Focus on your is's, r's, b's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just start there.
Yeah, if you just eliminate all those, then it's going to be way better.
And obviously, you know, your artists are good enough that it isn't a problem, right? But it still makes it easier for you to understand what all those panels are about and all those pages are about when you're revising. So that is still helpful for you in your work and as you deal with like editing and like when you review the art, when you get it, you know, what's happening in this panel. It just makes life a lot easier because you know what the main action is that you need to sell.
Right. I think he nailed all of the stuff. Like he missed a few things, like he did a regular rifle instead of a plasma rifle, stuff like that. But I just didn't look closely enough at it in terms of like, oh, there's an extra panel here that doesn't connect to the background.
I mean,
and
I'm more worried
honestly,
about the teleporting robot. Like, you've got to establish who's in the scene, but that's like you can solve that in your writing, like in the script phase. So
And-
we'll be. I'm sure we'll help you with that when you bring it.
Okay. Cool. I appreciate the help, guys. I'm gonna rewrite a bunch of these panels, and we'll make it better.
All right.
Looking forward
You
to seeing
guys want to look at a movie idea?
Sure.
why not? What do you got for us?
Samantha Claus. Samantha Sam Claus is a rebellious daughter of Santa Claus, a wannabe metal rocker who has a typical disaffected view of Christmas as a vapid celebration of consumerism. Think Wednesday Addams with a slight punk rock flair. One night in December, she decides to steal Daddy's sleigh and take a joyride into the city. After landing, she is able to miniaturize the sleigh and store it in a special snow globe, one which changes the magic engine that allows it to fly. Charlie Hudson is a typical awkward everyman stuck working as a photo-taking elf in the mall. Christmas used to be his favorite time of year, but with his mom having passed and his father having become miserable and hard to talk to, he finds it hard to celebrate. While walking home, Charlie discovers Sam being accosted by some midget-sized thugs, elves in disguise. He fights them off and rescues Sam, taking her to his apartment. Charlie and Sam have an awkward conversation about family, both of them discussing how difficult their dads are. However, Sam is a bit naive and childish and quickly falls asleep after some cocoa. Meanwhile, the elves who accosted Sam phone their boss, the rogue elf Leroy, lamenting that they were unable to steal the sleigh. Leroy stews angrily, recalling his past. For years, Leroy has been taunted as the worst toy maker in the North Pole, responsible for the Cabbage Patch doll that ate children's hair, the chemistry
I
kit
remember that.
that came with real uranium, and the instruments of death known as lawn darts. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Quietly, he has been planning a hostile takeover of the North Pole, and when he spotted
Whose script is that?
This is a script idea.
Are you writing it, or did you commission a writer, or somebody submit it to you?
This is Vito's idea.
Oh, okay.
I can't hear Preston anymore, and my main screen is
okay. You can't hear me anymore. You can't. Hello.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. All right. I don't know, Kyler. Anyway. All right. Quietly, let's see. He's been playing house take on North Pole, and when he spotted Sam stealing the sleigh, he saw his opportunity. The goal now is to prevent Sam from returning the sleigh to the North Pole. With Santa unable to deliver presents, Leroy the elf will take either stage, saving Christmas.
Take center
stage in his nuclear-powered rocket sled, possibly working together with an evil Elon Musk type figure. Either Santa will reward him for saving Christmas by naming him successful, easier, or is there some sort of board of directors that will appoint Leroy and leave Santa disgraced, funnier, and more in line with a revenge narrative? The next morning, Charlie catches news footage of a mysterious UFO impact. He sees the sleigh slamming into a building and a figure he recognizes as Sam stumbling out of the wreckage. He confronts Sam, who admits to being Santa's daughter. When Charlie reminds her that Christmas is only a week away, she assures him the sleigh is fine and that she intends to return it after it finishes just regenerating inside the snow globe. She pulls out the globe only to realize it was damaged in the flight and the magic has leaked from it. So, primary conflict, Sam needs to find Christmas magic to repair the sleigh, which will likely be some quest for a magical MacGuffin, the star atop the Woolworth tree. That must be the most magical thing of all. Leroy trying to stop them at every turn, only to eventually realize the MacGuffin is useless and the real Christmas magic was inside them all along.
Aww.
Possible ending, a big finale in a museum of vintage toys. Leroy falls backwards into a display case only to find out that all the horrible toys he made are actually beloved collector's items. he accidentally turns on a documentary which discusses the danger of lawn darts, but with testimonials from grown kids showing off their scars and saying, they were dangerous as heck, but I'll never forget the memories. Newly filled with Christmas magic, he helps them energize the sled. 2 random scenes I envision. Sam and Charlie have their third act falling out. She no longer believes in Christmas and doesn't want the pressure of being the next Santa Claus. She breaks into an elderly rock star's home, like Ozzy Osbourne type, and is shocked to find him decorating the tree. Sam, you celebrate Christmas? Ozzy, of course. But you're the Prince of Darkness. Your third album was titled I Am Become Satan. Ozzy, the record got that wrong. Shows the original album cover, which says I Am Become Santa. At the start of their quest.
Growing up in the whole Satan craze in the 80s and 90s. I like that.
That's a cute guy.
Yeah. At the start of their quest, Sam just wants to go home. Charlie is trying to convince her to care about Christmas. He points at a group of children. See these kids making snowman? What do you think they are filled with? Sam, blood. Charlie, no. Sam, bones. Charlie, no. Thanks. Plasma. Charlie, that's just a different way of saying blood. No, the correct answer was Christmas cheer, and they're going to lose that if we don't fix this sleigh and get it back to the North Pole. So
okay. I have thoughts.
Okay, what you got?
What genre is this?
I was thinking Christmas comedy.
Well,
So
okay.
So, like
that would be my question.
Thing.
Is it rom-com, or is it family comedy, or is it
thriller?
Adult comedy? I mean, obviously it's a comedy, but
yes.
I mean, it could be a kind of actiony thing if Leroy was the protagonist.
No.
Like he's like a grinchy villain protagonist. That could work.
No. Again, action comedy is irrelevant. Is it who's the audience? Is it adult comedy? Is it rom-com? Like Lifetime rom-com?
I
adult
feel
comedy
like,
or kids family comedy?
I mean,
because that matters in how you want to address it. And I didn't see that anywhere in this. Like, who is the target audience? That would be one thing I would say is missing from the pitch.
Okay.
Is who your target audience is.
And
you can go either.
I have a follow up once you
sure.
tell me what the genre is.
I really haven't gotten any farther than Christmas movie, and it could be like Bad Santa. It could be like
again, Bad Santa's adult comedy.
Right.
You've got Elf, which is more family comedy.
Right.
And then
we're probably going to
who is the protagonist? Because you gave
that too.
Charlie, I think, seems like the protagonist, and then Sam is like a magical fairy pixie dream girl.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's a standard rom-com. But then, like, in terms of transforming this into anything, right? Sam is having a normal whatever, then gets bumped into by like the rebellious daughter of Santa, and they go on a magical Christmas adventure that's also, sort of dating. That's a fine movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your Lifetime.
You don't need elves. Having her getting beaten up by elves is hilarious. Go for it. Have elves. But you don't need elves at that point, which means it's a good movie, right?
Right.
Then it's about the Christmas magic and where it is, and you teach her the meaning of Christmas because she just doesn't get it, even though the guy hates it. Well, that's a good conflict.
Right.
Right. And then she has to decide if she wants to go live in the North Pole as a magical fairy or be a perfectly good human punk rock girl or whatever the fuck. Okay. So, or maybe she's just delusional and like that's a whole subplot, right?
Oh,
right.
Good,
right.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't even need to be a comedy. It can just be a drama about Leroy and his schemes to destroy Christmas.
Elon Musk should be the main character, and it's a remake of Ernst Saves Christmas. He straps a SpaceX rocket to this. There we go. All
right. So, what the stuff that was most compelling to me in that treatment was boy meets girl, not even girl meets boy. The boy meets girl stuff was the way everything sort of fell together.
Right.
Because the girl just didn't have that much going for her unless it's like more of a fish out of water type comedy.
Right.
And I don't think that works very well for Christmas movies. Like the audience.
That's kind of Elf. Like Elf was fish out of water. I mean,
Santa Claus was kind of fish out of water too.
Yeah.
The other way, but like that's hard. And doing it with a character that's like a brand new Christmassy character who's a punk rock daughter of Santa is just like it's unnecessary. So just having her be the love interest and just then making her interesting is probably the better way to go. I do like the finding the Christmas magic thing because that's a mission that should presumably fulfill a need in both the characters.
Or potentially all three.
Sure. But not necessarily what they want, just what they need, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So Christmas has to be what they need because that's the only kind of fucking Christmas movie. God, I hate it.
Of course.
I'm Jewish. I find Christmas very alienating. But I know what the structure is like.
Would you prefer, Hebrew Hammer?
I love the Hebrew Hammer.
I know, I love that movie.
And it's a proper Christmas movie too. Like
it absolutely is. Oh, absolutely.
Because as it turns out, when you're making a holiday movie that's anywhere near Christmas, you have to respect the Christians. Because they're such a huge part of the audience too. But yeah, so like, what is Christmas magic? That totally works. Dude's disaffected, saves a girl, and then she reintroduces him to Christmas. That totally works. That doesn't need like manic pixie dream girl stuff, but you're going to get some anyways just because of the setup. And her being in a fish out of water thing, I mean, that's going to work. Then you're looking at, what's a good fish out of water thing that's recent? Thor. Jesus. I just called Thor good.
And recent.
Right.
Thor 1 was like 10 years ago.
I like the first Thor. It's just not bad.
I like the first one. It's very funny.
Like, I actually, I don't know if I like it on rewatch, but I liked it fine. It had memorable moments, so I'll take it.
And I like Kenneth Branagh as a director.
Yeah.
So, and I really feel like he did a really good job with that. So, but anyway.
And then, I guess, like, I'm leaning towards, like, the Leroy character not being particularly relevant, but you also do need a B-plot in something like this. So you need another B-plot that's more about their budding relationship, whatever that is.
Right.
That's, like, because you've got your A-plot of, let's go dick around the city looking for Christmas cheer, and actually it's feeding the homeless or something actually, like, valuable. So that's a ton of your A plot, and then like, what's going to get in the way of that? It
needs to be like feeding the homeless, not singing in a park. That's one thing
right?
that annoyed me about
Actually, go feed some people. Like, do something nice for people who like you haven't met. Do some real charity for once. God, I hate Christmas. Anyways, so like whatever. You need to sort of know what that's going to be in advance, or at least have a good idea of the 2 or 3 things it's liable to be.
Okay.
But then you've got to put roadblocks in your male lead's way as well. And like, we've got the Leroy stuff, which is really focused on the female lead, but roadblocks for the male lead is, I think, something that's missing there because he's
got a jaded Jewish ex-girlfriend. Or a jaded Jewish
boyfriend, even. Make him bi. Who the hell cares?
No, in-law. Maybe it's a jaded Jewish in-law. Maybe it's his mother-in-law.
I tell you
there
what.
You go.
But like, so that's it. Like, what's in his way to get his fulfillment is definitely like missing from the treatment if you're going to go the rom-com route.
Okay.
This is a kind of okay movie about supernatural stuff coming and just changing someone's life.
Yeah.
But then it feels like one of those awfully tedious and trite, like, evangelical films where kind of like there's a manufactured conflict and nothing happens and it's all about Jesus. And I don't think you're going in that direction.
Okay.
So having an actual earthly conflict.
Well, the conflict is like
the internal problem.
The sleigh has to be fixed, or Christmas won't happen.
But what does that mean? Like, does that mean like presents won't magically appear under the tree?
Yeah.
But if parents know that the tree, that the presents are magically appearing and they didn't come from them, then they
Right.
would know they'd have to come from somewhere.
Yes.
So then we would be living in a world with an actual Santa.
This is a world with an actual Santa. I think it established that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
how
saying
can there
world with Santa
so-
is real.
so how can there be a lack of Christmas cheer if even parents know that Santa's real? Because they have to know that the presents come from somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Wait.
one of the problems when you start dealing with a lot of this, like
Yeah.
when you start dealing with it
Oh,
logically.
okay. How about this?
All right, where we go?
Santa's got his own sleigh. He's going to do his thing, whatever. This
Yes.
is the hand-me-down sleigh that he gave to his daughter when she turned 16, right?
All right.
And her daddy's going to kill her if she doesn't bring it back in one piece. Because it's hard to insure something like that.
Right.
And then you have this, like, you know, bring it to an auto body shop, and they're like, I don't know how to fix this, like, or like, you know,
I think
go nuts there.
I feel like if Santa were
Larry,
real,
you're Jewish.
I feel like if Santa were real, the world would be
a completely different place.
different place. Yeah.
What, because magic would exist?
Yes.
That too. Yes, one magic.
It's the same conversation that I had with my family when I came out as an atheist. Is that I feel like that if God and magic exist, the world would be completely different than the way it is.
You're only saying that because if those things existed, the world would be completely different to how the way it is.
It's exactly my point. Like in Lord of the Rings,
but I'm saying
hobbits can't do magic, but they still live in a world where magic exists and they are aware of it.
Yes.
Even if they can't do it themselves.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like if Santa or God was real, we'd know it because that's why. Anyway,
if magic existed, people would know about it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
well,
like,
in this world of the script, magic exists and Santa can do it. And I feel like that would be a different.
Okay,
place.
well, Preston, how about this?
All right.
Okay, this is a really weird, poorly recalled history callback.
Okay.
In the 30s, during the Depression, didn't people like attach horses to motor vehicles because they couldn't afford gas?
I mean,
that sounds like something they would do.
It's something that I'm pretty sure they did in Canada for sure.
Okay.
So maybe Santa's hand-me-down is actually like an old Model T.
Yes.
And, you know, it's actually really difficult to find parts. So even the trivial effort of going to an auto body shop or whatever won't solve the problem. So, but maybe she heard, or like they read the fucking manual or something like that, and it mentions something about the spirit of Christmas healing the device and letting it happen. And you can then sort of hand wave a bunch of bullshit. But this also lets you use like a fun prop for it too, where it's like, this is difficult, or like, you know, maybe it's like a weird European car, but
well, honestly,
you're never going to sell a Christmas movie that's not about America being awesome. So don't.
You're right.
So honestly, though, I think on the budget, the snow globe is actually perfect because you can get a snow globe with a sleigh in it at any thrift store.
Sure.
And, I mean, that's an easy prop to just say, oh, okay. And honestly, I like the idea, and it's probably just the way that it's written, and I don't think he intended that, but the way the premise is written is that she somehow was able to turn it into a snow globe rather than it normally lives in a snow globe. And I think the sleigh should normally be in a snow globe. Like when we first, if you go this route, when we establish it, she should like walk into like the barn, pick up the snow globe, shake it, and boom, sleigh.
Yeah.
And then when she lands, she gets out, shakes the snow globe, boom, sleigh's gone in the snow globe. Just to make
does that mean that the magic is in her or in the car?
It's in the snow globe.
Right.
It's in the shaking of the snow globe.
Oh, I like. Okay, the snow globe is the magic thing.
Well,
right. The snow globe. That's why when it gets cracked and the water leaks out, that's all the leaking of the magic that has to get repaired.
Okay. Sure.
That's what I got out of the whole snow globe thing, which I kind of like. I thought it was actually rather clever, and I would say props to Vito for coming up with a way of dealing with
that's a
MacGuffin that's easy to find and source in a lower budget film. So say props for that, because that's clever, smart, and I think that's a cool idea.
Okay.
I'm going to go with this is worth expanding, even if just for like the rom-com aspect. If you ignore,
There you go.
Well, honestly, Larry, I'm just, yeah. What movie though?
Yeah.
Because if you've seen, again, I grew up on not Lifetime because I wasn't allowed to watch Lifetime. What was that other one?
Hallmark. No.
Yes, Hallmark. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, I grew up on all the Hallmark Christmas movies, and yes, they're all basically the exact same thing.
I mean, boy,
So-
yeah, those movies. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
formula by the
Yeah.
book.
Absolutely.
yeah, I wish I was working on some. They film a lot of them up here.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's so damn cold. They can make
That
winter
is-
pretty much all year round.
It's
Yeah.
true. Actually, my problem is I live too far south. There's a different union for Northern Ontario where they shoot a lot more of it, and you have to live up there.
Well,
But yeah, so Preston, like I think
Yes.
the core of the plot, like the human relationship stuff, like it's
Yeah.
there. With or without a major villain, it is mostly there.
Yeah.
You've got the being something cool. I say, sketch that out and then deal with your magical shenanigans later, because you're going to have a bunch of other ideas as
Okay.
it comes up, right? Like whether they're looking for the spirit of Christmas or a particular MacGuffin or whatever, those are slightly different
Yeah.
structures, but fundamentally that relationship needs to, like, those characters need to gel. They need to have a good meet cute, and they also need to have like their own conflicts from either side of it to prevent that relationship from happening.
Okay.
And that's going to get you like about halfway through whatever you're doing. Like that's most of your A plot, right? Aside from like the back half of Act 2, where it's go look for MacGuffin parts, or on that quest, and then like add a villain if you really need to, but you might not even need to.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right? Like you don't need to overstuff this if you're already dealing with magic and the spirit of Christmas and all of that stuff. And you could then just add those complications when they become necessary, and then sort of write them back in. Like that's why you start with the treatment, right? So you can move those index cards around really easy.
Yeah.
But you've got solid characters.
Yeah.
Especially your two main leads, the ones that matter. And so the way you've introduced them and what they care about, like, yeah, it feels like it'll work.
All right. Fair enough. I will, I'll go back and re-listen to this on my drive up to Indianapolis and see if I can.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying, like figure out which of those characters is your main one.
All right.
It could be either of those three, but that's I think the hardest decision to make at this stage.
Okay.
Right? Is what's your genre specifically, and then which of those characters is the main one?
Who's your audience?
Yeah. All right. Excalibur. Wait, that could be a cool Christmas plot. She needs to find Excalibur. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Next week we'll see what we have, and I'll be back from Indianapolis, hopefully.
Well, go kick a lot of ass in Indianapolis.
You know it. All right, everybody. Take care. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.